Uh-oh. It's about that time, family. Come to the light. That's right. Come to the light. It's that time. Got a very, very powerful Mother's Day presentation coming up. That's right. Very, very powerful Mother's Day presentation coming up. The Black Woman is God Mother's Day edition going down. Y'all already know. I mean, I say, wow, over all these years, the lecture then grew so enormous with power packed, information visuals that is just mind blowing, to even, to think about the magnitude of what's going down this Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? Which I believe I've been rocking the last matter of fact, about the last 3-4 Mother's Days. I brought to bring the Black Woman is God because you need to hear that. You need to hear it. Not as just something that, niggas say out their mouth. No, it got to come back to assert itself as the foundation of the African nation, because that's the only way it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way it's going to happen. Niggas think they're going to do it, you know what I'm saying, without the veneration of the Black woman, nigga, you was in confused state. You was in a confused state, a state of misery. You know what I'm saying? Miserable thought. And so and so I got to drop it down. You know what I'm saying? And so if you anywhere around, get them in, get mama, and get all your family, get aunties and sisters, and get these niggas in there too. Get them in there. So I can go and lay this shit down like it's supposed to be laid. You know what I'm saying? And so the link is in the chat room. It's also in the video description. And so you hit that link, go through that portal, boop, and you'll go right in there, get your ticket, and most definitely be in the house, because it's going to be magnificent. And it will be mind-blowing. In fact, you see, y'all know what time it is. What? KingSeti.com online marketplace. 15% off. We doing it for Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? And we got to venerate mama. I ain't got no problem with Mother's Day. We got to venerate mama, and we can't do it on no one day. She need to have a day every damn day. You know what I'm saying? But some days are more sacred than others, so we ain't got no problem with Mother's Day. And I know somebody gonna say, no. The way we do it, ain't nobody gonna do it like we do it. So KingSeti.com on plays everything. Starting yesterday, 15% off. You know what I'm saying? DVD lectures, T-shirts, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry. Tonics. The remedies and tonics for the family, holistic tonics and remedies, art and home decor. Trying to transform your home into the African temple that you always wanted. Hit that link in the video description, in the chat box. Hit that link, and boom, go on over there and get you something and get 15% off. You feel me? Y'all ring the alarm, GeneralSeti.com, SETI University. Mind-blowing subjects and studies, African academics at its very best. Over 800 videos and presentations behind the scene. It's so much. Over 50 cities, highlights of over 50 cities, SETI with the masters, teachers, too raw for YouTube, just tons and tons of lectures, the top lectures on all subjects, and so I didn't put Netflix out of business. And motherfuckers are going out of business, you know what I'm saying? Because, we got family binging on SETI University, GeneralSeti.com. Get on over there, and you will most definitely thank yourself for that. I just got off of Patreon. Man, we had a powerful day today. If you did not see this presentation, you don't know what you missing. the 7 greatest power couples of ancient Egypt. Man, you know what I'm saying? This is really a treat for the family to get this information. You know, the only way you're going to combat negativity and crazy shit is by promoting the facts of our greatness. You know what I'm saying? And so most definitely this is one, and it was, you know, it's been broken up into different two different presentations, because, you know, some of the great couples were so extensive that I couldn't, you know, I had to cut the presentation in half. You know what I'm saying? And so the day before yesterday, I did the secret genetic experiments, hybrid animal, human hybrid, animal hybrids. You see what I'm saying? Dealing with the, you know, because there's some crazy shit going on out here. Nobody want to tell you about, and you out here, you know, opening up your arms and your blood and all, and you know what I'm saying, and taking in all type of craziness. You got mad scientists all over the world that are, you know, engaging in unethical, you know, manifestations. You know what I'm saying, and experiments and all type of crazy shit. And so you got to be on your P's and Q's, and you know what I'm saying. You got to be looking at everything that you indulge in or you know come in contact with. You know, because they out here and they trying to do some very, you know, wicked shit, and you better be aware of it. You know what I'm saying? Because the hybrid, you nigga, shit, you out here accepting every little, you know, little shot and shit and this, that, and third. You look up, nigga, you be a goddamn hybrid. So you better wake your ass up. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and the next presentation up on uh my Patreon is how Zeus Amon became the Kemetic devil, the uncut verse. See, I was on here the other day and I did the cut verse. See, we're gonna do the uncut version on my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna take the gloves off, family. They coming off. You coming off and with nothing but the facts. So you know you ready for the acts and you ready for the fact. Then you come on over to my Patreon, become a patron today, no matter what tier. Now, if you go to the top, you know, you get more goodies now. But if you're at the bottom, I'm still gonna feed you. You come in SETI house, you gonna get fed. That's just how it is. I know, you know, everybody that's on my page, they know they get fed. They don't go nowhere. They stay there, and because they know they say SETI gonna feed us, and I do that. You know, but if you at the top, you gotta if you're at the top, you go to the top, you got a big belly. You know, understand what I'm saying? But you know, if you're at the bottom, you ain't gonna be hungry. Tell you just like that. You ain't gonna be hungry. So I appreciate, you know, whatever tier you become, whatever tier. It don't make no difference. I appreciate you. All right. And make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe to every one of them, because y'all already know SETI Live is lit. You know, as soon as I show up, I'm going to blow up. You know, General SETI YouTube page, Sarasu SETI YouTube page, and King SETI YouTube page. Hit that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up, like it because you love it, and share it with your peoples, your family, so they can get this information too. Now, today we're going to be dealing with some powerful, powerful information, as we always do. We about to get on the Passover. I know them Hebrew niggas, they mad at me already. You know what I'm saying? So damn what? Get mad, nigga. Stay mad. Y'all know I ain't just jumped on you niggas. I've been jumping on you niggas. You know what I'm saying? Been jumping on you. You know what I'm saying? So I got to stick. You know, I got to stick with it now. I can't let up off of you niggas. Can't let up off of you. Got to stay on you. Let me get my where's my flyer at? There you go, right there. Now I had to come with this. I had to come with the Passover. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because they always pass us over. Shit. That's why they call it the Passover, because they always passing our ass over. Passover every day for a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Under white supremacy. Shit. Passing our ass over since we got over here. Shit. Let me get it in here, y'all. All right. Passover, the Jewish ritual of genocide. Now, why, what is you talking about, Seti? A lot of people say, oh, here comes Seti, and the nigga, the nigga be making it up as he go. No, I ain't making it up, nigga. I'm gonna hit it right on the head. You know what I'm saying? What you seeing, if you look at the flyer, you see, you see two little goat herders. They up there putting the goat blood on the doorway. And so a lot of people don't understand what that is all about. And most definitely, it's blood ritual with them goddamn Jews, which they nothing but Romans. They nothing but Romans, and I went over that too. When that I dealt with that with Zeus Amon. And matter of fact, I probably got some of that which I'll touch on that too, dealing with the goat rituals that come up out of Rome with the Lupercalia, also the Bacchanalia, and also Saturnalia, especially Lupercalia, which became Valentine's Day. And so you see, the Lupercalia, which are the priests of that festival. The Lupercalia, which is in the Lupa, is actually the she wolf, but the goat was also venerated, because they don't leave Pan out. Pan is venerated, which is the primordial goat god. You know what I'm saying? Which is the primordial goat god. And so, he's venerated in almost all festivals in dealing with that Greco-Roman. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people talk about the Jew. The Jew ain't nothing but a Roman. You talk about the Arabs, them, and people think when they think of some damn Romans, they thinking this is some intelligent motherfucker with a robe on and some goddamn lettuce, wrapped around his head and shit, looking like Little Caesars or something. No, these is barbarians. See, they done fooled you into thinking that, that's what, no, that, it was once they got in contact with African people, then they knew what real linen and real clothing was. But before that, they had animal skins on their back. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people think when they look at it, they looking at, some Little Caesar and, like I said, got lettuce wrapped around their head or some shit. No, that ain't what it is. And so when you talking about the Arab and the so-called Jew, the Khazar, you know what I'm saying? Even in that, the Tsar, when you hear Khazar, you see the Russian, with the Russian ain't nothing but a Viking, a Nordic. That's all they is. When you start talking about all them civilizations, they come up out the Viking. And so the Russian ain't nothing but a Viking, the German and all of that, they ain't nothing but the root in that, And so when you see a lot of these so-called the Ashkenazis, you talk about the Ashkenazis and shit. Coming a lot of them in, prior to World War II, the majority of Jews was in Russia. A lot of people don't want to talk about that, and a lot of people don't want to talk about the formation of the Hebrew language, which was a dead language. And then they start, just like the so-called Medunata and all these damn fake ass languages that they making up. You know what I'm saying? And so, in doing the research on this Hebrew, basically they took a lot of Yiddish and a lot of goddamn German and shit, and they added it to Arabic. They used Arabic and a little Aramaic as the catalyst to attach they goddamn Slavic language to. And that's why and I don't have no problem in saying that. I don't have no problem in saying it. I could back that shit up. You can do the research. How they constructed the so-called Hebrew language today. And niggas talking about they ain't reading shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a bastard language that done been thrown together to give the illusion that they, somehow, is connected to whatever they say that's in the book, which is a book of fairy tales. You know what I'm saying? But just to show you that the Roman, when you talking about when Alexander broke through, you know what I'm saying, the African wall of culture and nations, when, because Alexander the Great, not the Great, but that's what the fake, the Greek, the freak. You see what I'm saying? He was the first major conqueror. You know what I'm saying? And so that came down through out of Europe into what today we call the Middle East, which ain't the middle but somebody's fantasy world. You know what I'm saying? And so he was the first one to come down. And so all those tribes that you see there today, you understand, of pale skin, they came through there with Alexander. Okay, many people want to know how long the Arab came through that portal with Alexander, and that's why when you go into the Quran and you go into Islamic literature, they done made Alexander a prophet. Okay, go look it up. They called it, when they talk about the two horn, where they talk whatever they call him, and he did. And they say he had two horns, and they always want to show the coin where Alexander is dressed up like Zeus Ammon. You know what I'm saying? Let me put it up here. They show the the horns where Alexander is, and so this is in Islamic literature. You see what I'm saying? And they also state in Islam that the Greeks and the Romans are descended from Abraham. I say, man, go look this shit up. Go look this shit up. So you got to understand, there's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the rituals that you see with the Khazars, you see what I'm saying? With the Khazars, and and Ashkenazis, come out of Rome. They come out of Rome. So you're gonna see the blood rituals of the goat today, but I'm showing you, that they were already doing that. They were already using the goat blood. You know what I'm saying? In Rome. You know what I'm saying? They was already doing that. So what they do, they cut the goat open, and they take the meat. They're gonna cook the meat. They take the blood, and they have little strips. They'll cut some of the skin up, what got little strips, and like a little whelp, a little, you know what I'm saying? They dip it in blood, and what they do, they run around, and and they hit the women on it, because it's supposed to be a symbol of fertility. You know what I'm saying? If you get hit with it, then somehow you magically fertile, and this, that, and the third. And so this is where that come from. And so today you see this fascination with the goat. And we, and our people venerate all animals. We even got the goat in voodoo. You know what I'm saying? You even got the goat in voodoo, but we dealing with a particular people. We dealing with a particular ritualisms. You know what I'm saying? And a different spirit, and a whole total different spirit. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at the goat to the Cro-Magnon Neanderthal, who come from beyond the Uralian mountains. A lot of people call them a Caucasian. They're not Caucasian. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's too far south to be the point of their origin. It was the point in which they broke through into the African world. And so a lot of people identify them with the point that where they come into the African world, instead of identifying them from truly the point of where they originate from. And so out of that ice age, they were far beyond, the Uralian mountains, in which most people, most historians and geography, people that study geography, considered to be the true boundary line between Asia and Europe, which there's still symbolic, because we know geography, and we know that this land mass is not, disconnected. It is connected, but there's something there that between these two tribes, or particular tribe that they don't really rock with one another for some apparent reason, and you see it even to this day. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and so that's why when you start talking about even the New Testament and so on and so forth, and it's the oldest version is written in Greek, even though they supposed to be speaking Hebrew and speaking Aramaic or whatever. Okay, well, why the book ain't written in Hebrew? Why they written in Aramaic or Hebrew or so on and so forth? It's because that the people that you call the Greeks and the Romans are the true authors. And so that's why once you understand and that is, today that the names have been changed to protect, you understand the originality that the Jesuses and all these, even Samson is nothing but Hercules. You understand? Pandora opening up the box, and it's Adam, Eve opening up the box, and and so on and so forth. And so it's so many because it is the same. And a lot of times as it moved throughout the world, it changes, but the foundation of it is still the same. You see what I'm saying? It's still the same. And so, when we talking about Passover, and you got all the celebrations and that go on, especially with this especially with this and so, today we talk about, the Passover. Now, the Passover, is supposedly a time where, the so-called Jew or Hebrew celebrate the Exodus, but particularly, the Passover is the 10th plague, because God is plaguing Egypt, which we don't talk about. We don't talk about that. God is plaguing Egypt, plaguing out, and people don't. And I say, damn, people don't even read this shit. All the African tribes in the Bible are just hideously cursed. You know what I'm saying? God commanded, the so-called Israelites to destroy everybody. See, when the people see that's the truth, they did take and that's why I really, that part of the Bible, I'm so glad that they documented. All that other shit they talking to God and these prophets, no, the fact that they understood that the land was not theirs, and they usurped the land, come upon the land, committed genocide upon the land. That's the facts. Even say they moved in their houses because they were goat herders. They didn't have no knowledge of no damn construct. Because if they had knowledge on how to construct houses, you would have seen houses where they came from. They was living in tents. They wasn't a city dwelling people. They were a bunch of goddamn shepherds. You know what I'm saying? They were a bunch of damn shepherds. So when you talk about the plagues of Egypt, you're talking about the plagues of Egypt. You got water, and one of them was just, the water turns to blood. You see what I'm saying? So the symbolism in that. The symbolism in that. Blood, you got to, it's got to be death. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's some in boils and shit. You got frogs that come, just flood. You got lice, come upon the people, flies, sick cattle, fire and hail coming down on locusts and shit. Say the land was in darkness and shit for, however many days or whatever. And then the death of the firstborn. And so the 10th plague is where you get the Passover. You see, which a lot of people is not talking about. You niggas let these crazy niggas out here to claim to be, and what they talking about, and these so-called these Cro-Magnon Jews and Cro-Magnon Neanderthalic Jews out here, they practicing Passover, but nobody speaks about what this so-called celebration. What are they celebrating? What are they celebrating? And so, you You're talking about the death of the firstborn, and so I put this up here. A lot of people, I don't have to find no black people. A lot of people say, well, the Hebrews was black. Well, motherfucker, they ain't African. And they don't want to goddamn be African. You understand what I'm saying? And God tell them not, don't even fuck with the Africans. That's what God said. And so I'm tired of people trying to make somebody be black and respect and give respect to them. And they in the Bible and they got all type of commandments where they are to destroy us, and it's commanded by God. I say, God damn it, if that ain't my goddamn God. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, sit up here talking about God, and you wonder why you in the fucking condition you in. You understand what I'm saying? Because you believe this guy telling these people to wipe your ass out. And you over here praying and praying and praying and wonder why you ain't got no prayer answer. Nigga, because you praying to a God that don't love you. And that's why I say I always got to have a God that going to back me up. You understand what I'm saying? Going to choose me I'm chose. My God chose me. You understand? You say your God chose. Okay, then when you go over there with your God, my God chose me. I don't have to go in no other man's book. And if I ain't got a book, I'm going to write me a goddamn book where I'm chose. I'm not going to be in another man's book talking about God wrote this book and God God is saying to destroy me, and I'm going to respect that book. You understand what I'm saying? Fuck that book. You understand what I'm saying? Straight up and down and straight just like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's wrong with y'all niggas. Y'all can't draw the line in the sand. Y'all can't draw how far I'm going to go. And that's why you was in this predicament, man, because you will venerate some shit that's constructed to your own demise. You know what I mean? You can't find nothing in that. You know what I'm saying? You can't, it's a couple of verses in the Bible I did see that venerated Africa, but goddamn, it don't change the fact that God has got it's just chapters and chapters and chapters and chapters where our peoples is cursed. And it says in Exodus 11, believe it's, wait a minute, is it 11 or 12? I don't know. Verse 51, death of the firstborn and the Passover. Now, let's deal. Let me see if I can get in there and actually get. If not, I don't necessarily have to, because it is what it is. And so what happens is that, Pharaoh is, they supposedly, Pharaoh won't let them go. And nobody tells you that Pharaoh then told the Jews and Hebrews to get the fuck out of Egypt about 3 times. And what happens is God hardens his heart. Okay? Listen to this shit. I want y'all to hear this. God hardens his heart. And it come right up. I didn't even put it in. It said God, harden his heart. Now let's see what this say. Listen to this. This is Exodus 9. Exodus 9, verse 12. But the Lord. See, this shit is a setup. You know what I'm saying? You want to see the demise of Egypt. Pharaoh done said, get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Get y'all ass out of here. I don't give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't nothing but goat herders anyway. You motherfucker been in here eating good and shit. You know what I'm saying? Get y'all ass on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And so it says, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as the Lord had said to Moses. You see? So, this is a fucking setup. The Pharaoh then told Moses and the Jews to get the hell out of Egypt, and the Lord hardened his heart. And so, they trying to say, they setting our people up. Setting our people up. And so finally, after all these plagues, the 10th plague is God sends the angel of death, to kill all the firstborn of Egypt. All the firstborn of Egypt. Now that's genocide. You see, that's a genocide. And now the thing is, this is a God that loves, and is a God of love. Okay. Now, why? I'm trying to find it in my consciousness on why God would set a people up to have their firstborn put to death. Now, the man that said, y'all get out of here. And the Lord hardens his heart. And that wasn't the only time that he did it. He hardened it more than once. You know what I'm saying? Every time, and Moses say, let my people go, the Lord hardens his heart. You see? And so I'm trying to find the other ones to see. I know that's one. Let me see if I can find the other one. Where he hardened the man's heart, more than once. Wait a minute, here goes some more. But this one is and he hardened, and this was, I believe this is Exodus 7:13. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them as the Lord has said. Okay? And he hardened. So we talking about God doing it. And so this is a setup. This is a setup. So when you talking about Passover, the 10th plague is the angel of death coming in to take the firstborn. You see, to take the firstborn of the Egyptians. And so in order for the so-called Hebrew people not to receive, because they don't care who in there, it's just whoever in Egypt, including the Hebrew, anybody in Egypt, they firstborn will be taken from them. You see what I'm saying? Will be taken. And so what the Hebrew had to do, they had to put the blood above the doorway. Put the goat blood above the doorway. You see what I'm saying? So that the angel of death would pass over them. You see? And so y'all now looking at this. This is an act of genocide on African people. And they know that. You know what I'm saying? Some people gonna refer to the Hebrews passing over the Red Sea. That's not how it happened. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them tell you nothing otherwise. They will not deal with the fact that this was a genocide on the people. Because the Jew always talking about what happened to them, but then they don't talk about what happened to African people in the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Well, so many acts of genocide happened to African people. A lot of people, listen to this. A lot of people don't know, which I will do, that Moses, he married Zipporah. Okay? He married Zipporah, who was from the land of Midian. Okay, her father was Jethro. Okay, and so they was from, and a lot of people don't know that Moses, he wiped out the Midians. He wiped them out. He wiped out his own wife's tribe. And people don't, you need to read that. You know what I'm saying? He wipes out his own wife's tribe. I mean, what kind of motherfucker is this? You see what I'm saying? People don't, Joshua with his ruthless ass. Hezekiah. He's another ruthless Hitler. You know what I'm saying? That nobody want to talk about. You know what I'm, and so we talk about the Passover, we talking about a blood ritual, a genocide that was committed by God himself. Committed by God. Okay, I want y'all to know who's committing this act. God sends the angel of death. What a loving God, y'all. What a loving God. I know we so proud of God, it's just we don't know what to do. And so, now listen. Now the length of time the Israelite people lived in Egypt was for 430 years. People don't know that. You see what I'm saying? And how they benefited in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Let me read something to y'all. Wait a minute. And I typed it, and if anybody wanna, and so these niggas, out here, they want to try to compare what happened to the so-called Hebrews in Egypt. They want to compare that shit to what happened to us in slavery. And let me read this shit for y'all, man, so y'all can understand it. I say, man, this shit is crazy. Now, this is Numbers 11:5. Now listen to this. This is Numbers 11:5. It says, and this the Queen James, excuse me, King James Bible. This is what it speaks. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. You see what I'm saying? And so what are they talking about? Because Moses then took their ass out in that desert. And it's tight out there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't eating like they was in it. And so, and you think they was in Egypt for 430 years. And they in Egypt. And if you go to the international version, I don't use none of them, but they clear it up a little. So we remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost. Do you understand that? So they was talking to Moses and shit like, man, you done brought us out here in this goddamn desert, motherfucker. It's tight out here. You know what I'm saying? We remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost. Also the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlics. Niggas in the on them goddamn plantation wasn't eating no goddamn free fish and no goddamn cucumbers and melons and leeks and onions and garlic. Niggas was out there eating slop. Niggas was out there eating some goddamn slop. They wasn't eating no goddamn fresh fish and no goddamn cucumbers. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers in Egypt eating salads and shit and all type of fish and shit. They got a buffet in Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? So I want people to understand they trying to make it seem like they was in that motherfucker doing all bad. No, motherfucker, y'all wasn't in there doing bad. Y'all was doing real good. Y'all was really doing good. So when you say motherfucker was hard on you, do you know how many motherfuckers probably on the planet would love to eat fish and goddamn cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic? Motherfuckers don't bring that up. So y'all wasn't in that motherfucker doing all that bad. And then you was in there for 430 years. Huh? Shit, so you talking about Moses was 80 before they left, and so shit, they was in that motherfucker at when you talk about they was in there about They was in there about 300. They was in there 350 years before the birth of Moses. You see what I'm saying? They was in there 350 years before the birth of Moses. You see, and so they was in there, and so they ain't built no goddamn pyramids. We know that for a fact, because if they had the knowledge to build pyramids, then we should see pyramids in Israel. We shouldn't be looking for the tombs of Abraham and, which is fake tombs that they got over there. Majority of them tombs that they got over there, they got from the era. You know what I'm saying? Most of them, when them so-called Israelites went over there, and you want to pretend like this shit is real. You know what I'm saying? They ain't found no foundation of Solomon's temple on top of no goddamn whatever they call that, what they call that, Temple Mount. They ain't found no foundation. I study the so-called Jewish archaeology. They ain't found no damn temple up there. Everything that they come up with is nothing but conjecture. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no tomb. When you see the tomb of King Tut, that's his tomb. You understand what I'm saying? You have not found no tomb, no sarcophagus, no scrolls, of no prophet, in the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Whatsoever, to say that actually happened in the land that y'all call today Israel. And so really when the Jews came in 1945, when they adopted basically what the Arab had set up. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you go to Temple Mount, you see that they got Al Aqsa Mosque in front, and then they got what they call that temple up there. They whatever Arab temple they got up there with the gold dome on it. You know what I'm saying? They were already in there. And so you got so-called tombs for Abraham. That's in Hebron. The tombs of the patriarchs. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and shit. They all supposedly buried, but they got that from the Arab. You know what I'm saying? They got that from the Arab. They ain't got no real tombs over there. You know what I'm saying? So all of this shit is fake, made up of fantasy fairy tales. You see? And so we got to clear it up and make an understanding of what it truly is. And so a lot of people don't even bring that up. Remember where you saw that from? That they was in Africa eating good. God damn it! I wish black people wasn't eating free fish and shit and goddamn melons and shit and all that, nigga. You where at? So don't try to compare, but it's just a story. Okay, the Egyptians listen to it. Say the Egyptians urged the people to hurry and leave the country, for otherwise they said we will all die. You see what I'm saying? And so, the Africans was like, get y'all out, and all this, it was that hard, what do they need? And see, the thing is we never needed them. You know what I'm saying? Even in the fantasy world, we never needed them, because when you look at the accomplishments that Africans had already, they didn't need a slave. Ain't a tradesman. A slave is not an architect or a mason. You see what I'm saying? And so when you talk about the Hebrews, and even in the stories when they went into Canaan and conquered Canaan, they lived in the housing that was already constructed by the Canaanite. They adopted the Canaanite language, and that's why I get on their ass. Y'all don't bring this shit up. I brings it up because I cracked their motherfucking head. The language is not called Hebrew in the Bible. Wait a minute. It is called the language of Canaan. You know what I'm saying? It is called the language of Canaan. Okay? Listen to this. Let me get goddamn receipt. Motherfuckers say, I go to work live. I don't I ain't gonna put the shit up. I'll read it. You can look it up your damn self. I'm not about, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you the verses and whatever you need. Okay, they got land. I meant to put language. There you go. Hebrew is considered a Canaanite language. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? So they don't understand that. So really, so what in the Canaanite ain't nothing but Egyptian. Is nothing but the demotic Egyptian. That's all that it is. This is what it says. Isaiah 19:18. It says, this is mentioned in Isaiah 19:18 and refers to the language spoken by the Jews living in Canaan. In that day, 5 cities in the land of Egypt will be speaking the language of Canaan, swearing allegiance to the host of hosts. One will be called the city of destruction. So it's not called Hebrew. It's called the language of Canaan. You see what I'm saying? It's called the language of Canaan. And so they didn't even have no damn language. That's why y'all got to go back to Walter Williams. Just, what they did is they took the script. They didn't have no alphabet. They didn't have none of that. You understand what I'm saying? They had their own particular language, but they didn't have no written script. They didn't have no alphabet. They didn't have none of that. They got that from the Canaanite. You see what I'm saying? And so when you look, when people say, I hear people's on documentaries and shit, and they say God created the universe with the spoken word. And I seen one guy on the documentary, he say, well, what language did he speak when he created the universe? And people, and I heard the motherfucker that was supposedly the teacher or the rabbi say, Hebrew. I bust out laughing like a motherfucker, like, man, how dumb is the world, man? You know what I'm saying? It ain't no Hebrew. So what you saying is that God created the universe with the language of Canaan. Is that what you saying? Is that what you saying? You know, and so people don't want to deal with that. And so the written alphabet, it is called the language of Canaan. And when they was in Egypt, you spend 430 years in the nation. I mean, come on, man. What fucking languages you gonna be speaking? You gonna be speaking the official language of the land. You understand? That's just like we've been here damn near 400 and however many years under the imperialism of the British Americans. You see what I'm saying? And so ain't nobody over here talking this like before they came over here. Ain't nobody over here speaking the African language. Yeah, you got the Geechee down there where they still got, but it's still America. You got still using the English language as a base. It's a lot of African there, but the majority of blacks that's in here are speaking English. You know what I'm saying? So, if they were in Egypt 430 years, it's without any doubt that they were speaking Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? They were speaking, they wasn't no Hebrew or none of that. It was, and what kind of language would a goat herder have? You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got an extensive society to even have a language that's beyond the few words that you need. Goat, sheep, tent, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But when you talking about a nomadic people, they're not gonna have no large language. You see what I'm saying? So you got it's only in the major societies with so many things to explain and so many sciences to explain, so many creations to explain in the society. So the larger the civilization, the larger the language. You see what I'm saying? So the Hebrew didn't have but 2 or 3 grunts that he needed to explain what was going on in his society. So, you hear, so we had to explain that to the people, that the language was never their language, so that they can understand that. And so as with the language, so as with the architecture and so on. And even when you talk about the temple, when you talk about the temple in the Bible, you know what I'm saying? The Jews, the Hebrews didn't build the temple. When you talk about Hiram was Canaanite. He was a Phoenician, so he was a Canaanite, which would mean he was African. So he was the master mason. He was the master mason. They didn't have no damn architects on that level. You know what I'm saying? So how is it that y'all come out of Egypt building pyramids and then go into Israel and contract the Phoenicians to build your temple? You see what I'm saying? That don't make no motherfucking sense to me. Okay? It don't make no sense to me, family. So, that's some shit we need to pass over. And so you see right here, it says the first Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night. This is Exodus 12, chapter 12, verse 12 through 13. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And on all the gods of Egypt, I will execute my judgment. You see what I'm saying? Listen to that. See, on all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgments. Now, if the gods of Egypt ain't real, yeah, what would a God, Almighty God, is this motherfucker? Is he psychotic or schizophrenic? You understand what I'm saying? You know, that's just like talking to yourself and shit. If the gods is not real, what the fuck is you gonna execute judgment on some, something that's not real, And so that sounds like schizophrenia. But and I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. The blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague will befall you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. So it's God the murderer. So when you talk about, God murdering, this is like one of the other times where you see outside of the flood where this psychotic God is. This is mass murder. You know what I'm saying? This is mass murder right here. You know what I'm saying? And it's systematic. You didn't map it out. It's systematic. This is genocide committed by God. So this is the Passover. So you put the goat blood above the door and God a Passover. You know what I'm saying? So God into rituals. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think to myself like, well, damn, God needs you to have blood. He don't know you in there. He don't know you in there. Big bad God that know all things. He need for you to put some, you don't understand that the God, man created God. And that's why when you hear this shit, man in his fickleness, he cannot see past his own fickleness. So even when he write about God, he write it in a fickle manner where you can say, God damn, God, you need me to put some shit. Hey, motherfucker, don't you know this me, nigga? I need you to know this me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? This is me. This is your people. You mean to tell me you need me to put some shit over my door? You can't peek in there and say, oh, yeah, dog, I see you. You know what I'm saying? I need you. So the ritualism and the goat and the blood and all of this, you know what I'm saying? And so this is what they tied up into and still tied up into. That's why when you go in there in the mass and he said, this is the blood of Christ, and drink from the nah. I'm gonna pass on that shit right there, bro. I'm not into no drinking no Christ blood and this is the flesh of Christ. I'm not into your cannibalism. I'm not into your blood rituals and shit and this, that, and even in a symbolic manner. I'm not engaging in that. You know what I'm saying? Because what's on the inside is on the outside. And you setting and you programming motherfuckers to, ingest, and even if it's a psychological ritual, you know what I'm saying? It's still, it's an imprint in the mind. It's being programmed in the mind and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, you see here and, here it is, Numbers 11. I got it there. And we remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. Okay? We're in Africa, we eat some, we over here, we eat fish freely. You understand what I'm saying? And, if your ass got the slop, many goddamn days your ass didn't even eat. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even damn eat. So they was in Africa eating good. They was in Africa eating good, eating up off the land because they were vagabonds. You know what I'm saying? They had sat on their land. They had stolen the land. You know what I'm saying? And, and the Pharaoh didn't give a guy, didn't need them for nothing because they didn't have nothing to give. You understand? If they didn't have the science of any type of, building, they didn't have nothing to give. So it's a lie that they built pyramids. They never built pyramids because even when you're dealing with the chronology of the pyramids, that you're talking about, the Great Pyramids was built at, and you got to do the chronology. And that's what a lot of people don't do. Because when you talk about Moses is supposedly lived around the time of Seti, around the time of Ramesses II, which is around, you're talking about 12, You talking about 1200 BC. And so you talking about the pyramids was built, the Great Pyramids was built around 2500 BC. So you talking about almost 1300 years before Moses. And so even if you added the 350 years that the so-called Israelites was in slavery, man, and you say 1200 BC at the time of Moses, and then you add the 350 on top of that, that's still only going to take you to about 1500. I'll give you 1600, but still, that's still almost a millennium after the Great Pyramid was built. So once you know the math, it is no way that you can confuse that some Jews was in Africa building some goddamn pyramids. This shit is ridiculous, man. This is totally ridiculous. And so, a lot of times we don't read between the lines. We don't go deep into the book to actually see what it is. And they'll be showing on the news, and they got little lights and shit and everything, and they in there eating cake and all this, and you don't understand the deeper meaning of the ritual, and so you don't understand that they in there celebrating your demise, your destruction, your genocide. You see, they in there celebrating your demise and your genocide, and you don't even know it. And many times you go in there smiling, or if they ain't gonna let you in, they ain't gonna let you in. They ain't gonna let you in. So stop it. And so when we deal with the Passover, they demonize the astrological understanding. They demonize the astrological understanding. Do I got that in there? I may have. Here you go. You see, and this is when the sun passes over the spring equinox. You see, and so that's the true Passover. When the sun passes over, the spring equinox, and in which you understand the equinox is equal, meaning that as the earth is spinning and so on and so forth. You got the equinoxes, you got the solstices. The two solstices are the highest and lowest point of the sun. The summer solstice, the sun is at its highest point in the sky, and then you come to the so-called winter solstice is at the lowest point. You see, and then when you talk about the equinoxes, you're talking about where the sun is equal between night and day. You see, so you got the autumn equinox and you got the spring equinox. So Passover is when the sun passes over the spring equinox. And so you don't understand that the so-called the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which should have been at the winter solstice, because that's when the sun supposedly died on the 21st, went to hell for 3 days, it stood still, and then it resurrected. You see what I'm saying? The 21st is supposedly the shortest day of the year, which is symbolic of the death of the sun. And it stays at that point, the lowest point, for 3 days. And that's supposedly the death of Jesus, going into hell for 3 days, and then resurrect on the 3rd day, which is the 25th. So that story should have been it should have been at Christmas. You see, you can't, you know what I'm saying? It should have been at Christmas. But you got people telling that and this was the day that Jesus died, and really the Passover, and then around that same time you got Ramadan, you got Passover. Let me see when Ramadan was. Okay. Ramadan 2022 April 1st to May 1st. Okay, so when was the spring equinox? 2022. It was March 20th. So it's right around as, it's right. It ain't going to be exactly the same, but it's right around that same time. April 1st, April, right. So Ramadan came, about a week before the spring equinox. You see what I'm saying? So your Ramadan, your Passover, and the so-called resurrection of death and resurrection of Jesus Christ around. That's the spring festival. You understand? Celebrating the birth of the new year. You see, this is the birth, and so the sun is born, is coming into its height, and so on and so forth. And so that's why I keep telling people, ain't no death of no man. It ain't got nothing to do with a man. It's all astrological. You see, it's all astrological. When you want to know when the so-called Easter, when you want to know when Easter is, all you have to do is go to when was the spring equinox? The spring equinox, let me go back. Okay. The spring equinox was March 20th. Okay. Let's see what in the first full moon. First full moon of spring 22. Well, it got to be spring. It came March 18th. Well, it had to be after that. Let me go after that. It came on. No, it was April. It was April. The spring equinox came on March 20th, so it had to have been after. It was March 24th. That's when it was. It was March 24th. Okay. So when you look at March 24th, let me get my calendar up there. March 24th, you had the first full moon. Okay. So the first Sunday, when was Easter? Let me get it. Let me make sure I'm right, because I want to do this shit. Easter 2022. It was on. Let me get this shit right. Not new moon. Oh, this ain't even. I ain't even seeing full moons. That shit say last quarter, new moon. Okay, the full moon. See, that's what I'm not looking at. It's the first full moon. Okay, it was April. Was it April 16th? That's right. Okay, I got it. I wasn't looking at the chart right. I wasn't looking at the moon, the first full moon after the spring equinox was April 16th. That's when it was. Full moon. Okay, so the equinox came March 20th. Okay, so the first full moon after March 20th was April 16th. Now, once you know when the equinox is, which is March 20th, you look for the first full moon. The first full moon fell on April 17th. I mean April 16th. And then the first Sunday after the first full moon is Easter. And so Easter this year fell on Sunday, April 17th, which is correct. Which is correct. So I just had to do that to show y'all. You go to the spring equinox, March 20th. You go to the first full moon after March 20th, It was April 16th. Then you go to the first Sunday after the first full moon, and the first Sunday was actually the very next day, April 17th. And so it changes each year. You know what I'm saying? It changes each year. And so if your ass die on a day, whatever day that is, that's the day that on your obituary, it ain't gonna never change. So if it was the death of a man, it would not change like that. You see, and so I just want y'all to understand. And so that Passover, Ramadan, and all of that shit is folklore, occult magic that these motherfucking goat herders then created to hide the fact of the astrological mathematics that African people had discovered and were manifesting in Africa, because we were scientists, we were astronomers and shit. We were into geometry and we were building great observatories, of science and knowledge and shit. And so we were far beyond them. And so they went into a cult and shit to explain it, because they didn't have a science like that. You know what I'm saying? So, family, I just want y'all to look at how they demonized the astrological knowledge that we had obtained and put blood rituals on it. Put a blood ritual, and even the death of Jesus is a blood ritual. You know what I'm saying? Because they say, they celebrate that with mass, and his death is venerated in the so-called communion of the Catholics, with the blood and the body of Christ in the person of a piece of bread or whatever that they doing. So that in itself is also blood ritual and sacrifice. And if you go over there in Mecca, they doing the same thing. They got blood rituals too. They got blood rituals. Don't believe they over there with the goat too. You see what I'm saying? So, family, I want to thank y'all for being in the house today. You know what I'm saying? Go behind me, do the research, tell me I'm lying, so I can get with your ass immediately. You know what I'm saying? What I spit, I know you could go and do the research. A lot of times I look it up for you, and I do it in real time so you can see that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, family, thank you for being in the house. Quit, practicing the traditions of your enemy. That's the first sign of being a traitor and being a coward is practicing the traditions of your enemies that committed acts of genocide on your people. That's one of the first acts of being a coward. Don't do that. Rise up, master and venerate the traditions of the ancestors, and free your mind, free your people, free your ass. This is the General Sarah Susan said. He's saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on that wicked ass beast daily, liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.